Hi guys, so it's going to be another chatty one for me today. So it was International Women's Day yesterday, and while I think in essence it's a good thing, and I did see loads of posts dedicated to amazing women in science and women in the Middle East helping with the liberation of women, the majority of stuff I saw on social media was centred around whiny men and the fact that apparently some men were angry and asking when Men's Day is. I thought it was funny because instead of ignoring those few tweets and then perhaps calling attention to men's real issues at a different time, they chose to belittle and draw attention to the few people asking this. Apparently, International Men's Day is on the 19th of November, and if this day was actually properly recognised, and if media outlets and government recognised and promoted the day, I would understand this reaction more coming from women, because I think it's great that we have these days to understand and tackle the issues still facing each gender. But that isn't what happens. And the reality is that in the West, a place where, although we may not be 50-50 equal, we are at similar levels and both suffer injustices and inequalities because of our gender, yet women's issues are taken a whole lot more seriously. In fact, in British Parliament, we have a month of debates dedicated to Women's Day. And when a man went to Parliament to propose that we debate on Men's Day, this happened.
Because, of course, not only do we have International Women's Day, we also have women and equality questions every month in the Chamber, which we don't have for men. So the opportunity for men to raise issues that are important to them is very limited. And just to give you a flavour, Mr. Chairman, of the type of things that may come up and which will be part of International Men's Day, I'm not entirely sure why it's so humorous, but to discuss issues such as men's shorter life expectancy, wider male health issues, many of which go unreported through embarrassment of men to sort of go along and talk about these things, the high suicide rate amongst men, the propensity for violence against men. There's many male victims of domestic violence, again as something that goes very much unreported because of lots of embarrassment about it. The underachievement of boys in education compared to girls, the issues around father-child relationships, and often the way that fathers sometimes feel they don't get a fair crack of the whip in terms of custody of their children and things like that. These are all issues that affect an awful lot of people around the country. Whether people agree with some people's views or not, I think it's important that the House of Commons debates these issues. I think people can recognise that they are all very real issues for many people in the country. And so, all I ask is for an equal crack of the whip, that if those issues can be raised without having a debate on International Men's Day, then obviously the same issues can apply for when it comes to International Women's Day. But those arguments have never won the day before this committee.
I just think that it's worth pointing out the idea that this chamber, that these houses, both of them, in any way reflect gender equality is to me a frankly laughable thing. And so in the fight for equality, I'm not sure the men on this list necessarily have that much to fight for.
Bob, please. Yeah, I can empathise with a lot of the issues that you're concerned about. I mean, I think many people would say that people don't talk about testicular cancer or prostate cancer for fear of embarrassment. So that's quite clearly an issue that needs a lot more public debate.
I don't care about men's issues, it's that I'm hoping for parity myself.
Here.
I absolutely care about men's issues. And when I've got parity, and when women in these buildings have parity, you can have your debate.
Oh, Mr. Chairman, if I can just make the point,
and that will take an awfully long time.
I'm not requesting a debate on representation within the House of Commons. I'm asking for debates on men's issues, and the list of issues I gave earlier, I would like to think people can recognise are genuine issues and actually are very, very rarely debated in the House of Commons. Very rarely debated in the House of Commons.
He gets shut down because apparently men can bring up this stuff any day of the year, yet all he was asking for is a chance to debate men's issues on Men's Day like we do for women on Women's Day. She brings up the fact that there are more men in Parliament as an argument like 5 times, but the gender balance in Parliament has nothing to do with the balance of issues that they tackle, and they do pay a lot more attention to women's issues. And the funny thing is that apart from a few comments from men under memes asking about why isn't there a Men's Day, I didn't actually see that much of it. What I did see, however, was a barrage of people attacking and ridiculing men who supposedly asked about men's issues. As I said, International Men's Day is on the 19th of November, but it's not really, is it? I mean, apart from a website and a few sporadic events here and there, no one really knows about it. I've known about International Women's Day since I was a child. At school, we held events every year, and I was brought up to be proud of my gender and the steps forward we have taken. I only found out about Men's Day yesterday because some feminists on Facebook were complaining about men asking about it. Women's issues are at the forefront of conversation every single day. And while there is still a lot to be done around the world for women, in the West at least, men have as many issues as women, yet we don't talk about them. Yesterday, International Women's Day was all over social media. There were television shows on it, and between every show on a channel I watched, they had a dedicated amount of time to showing an inspirational woman. There were protests and demonstrations all over the world. It's a huge day. And I saw a few articles claiming that men only care about men's issues on International Women's Day because they feel left out. And if you look at search history data, you'll see almost no one searching for it on any other day. But again, I don't think this indicates that they don't care. I think it indicates that society pays almost no attention to men's issues in the West. And what I've noticed is that feminists, at least some of them, only pay attention to men's issues when it fits with theirs. However, when you bring up men's issues at the wrong time, they will shut you down or claim that women have it worse or bring up the gender wage gap. Men's issues just do not have a voice in the mainstream. They are often belittled and laughed at, and if they are paid attention to in any way, it is often as a very slight extension of the issues that feminists look at. For instance, a student at a university wanted to set up a men's society to look at men's issues, but was blocked and told that he could only set it up if it was an extension of the feminist society. He said it was nice of them to offer to include his issues in society. However, when he looked at the feminist society's policy statement, it said, "Feminism exists for women, and it would be extremely unreasonable to expect this space to support and cater for the needs of men." Not only was he blocked in setting up a society focusing on very real men's issues, the only way that he could have a voice was through the feminist society, which didn't really want to have a space for men's issues. Look, I'm not really against International Women's Day. I think that in the Middle East and even in Western countries, there are still issues that women need to overcome, and I would just be naive to deny that. However, what I am against is the excuse that people used yesterday to put down men who dared to try and ask about men's issues in a world where people really don't care about them. People on social media chose to pay attention to that instead of focusing on the issues that women still face. I care deeply about women's issues and men's issues and human rights issues in general, but I think for me, and maybe my personal experience has influenced this, there are very real reasons that men's issues matter to me, and likewise personal reasons that women's issues matter to me. But men's issues just aren't talked about in the same way. And look, I have mad respect for women who are genuinely doing amazing work to better the lives of girls around the world who suffer because of their gender. But at least in my country, the UK, and my personal social media sphere, no one really cares about men's issues. And I guess that's why I'm adding my voice to a group of people who just want to say, we do care about men's issues. We care about lowering suicide rates, about paternity rights, about circumcision, about custody battles, etc. International Women's Day could be an even better thing if people hadn't used it as an opportunity to basically belittle men's issues. Both days could be an awesome way for both genders to appreciate and talk honestly about the issues that we face. I just want to shout out some awesome women who inspire me every day. Ayan Hirsi Ali and Christina Hoff Sommers, both women that still identify as feminists, but who encourage rational thinking in this chaotic world. So those were just some of my thoughts, and I didn't even mention the A Day Without a Woman thing because let's not even go there. What do you think? Did you notice similar things to me yesterday on social media? Did you do anything for Women's Day? Do you think there should be a Women's Day? Did you know that there was a men's day? And do let me know if you like this kind of video. The videos where I don't show my face tend to be a little bit more serious with a little more specific information that I want to get across. But do let me know what you think. Please subscribe if you haven't done already with notifications, because I do sometimes upload at slightly different times. I tend to upload twice a week, usually on a Tuesday and a Friday, so this is actually an extra video. There will be another video tomorrow, so please stay tuned for that also. Check out my social media links in the bio also, and I will see you next time. Bye!